Something seems to be breaking out from underneath the anus. I saw a loud sound. The anus, which was originally sealed by the volcano, was blown away. People who were still fleeing were instantly frozen in place. But the next second, they were going to pay a painful price for their actions. After a hissing sound, the hot lava suddenly stretched out a giant beast, followed by a huge beast with a pair of wings. The monstrous beast crawled out of the crater, and he was the legendary Titan beast, known as the Inferno. At the moment of crisis, the army immediately sent several warplanes to attack. But not surprisingly, ordinary missiles on the Raton body does not work at all. Instead, it enraged the monster, which had been sleeping for 1,000 years. For 1,000 years, Raton unfolded his double power to cover the sky, diving towards the aircraft carrier in front of him. However, the town below was immediately affected. Wherever the monster passed, all the buildings were instantly destroyed like the end of days. Soon, Raton caught up with the fleeing mothership. The entire army was about to be wiped out, for warplanes immediately turned around to intercept the monster. However, the next second, they were all drinking under the opponent's wave. Hate, followed by the uncanny Raton suddenly swooped down again. 2 fighters with 1 foot. Then they were sent to their box like toys. In the panic, one of the pilots pulled up his bracelet and tried to make an emergency jump. But in the next second, he was swallowed by Raton. Faced with the onslaught of monsters experts have not yet figured out how to deal with. But, unexpectedly, Raton then unleashed his own airborne move, Death Roll. In a flash, the entire formation of fighters was completely destroyed like a firework. Then, Lartan launched a pursuit towards the mothership. Everyone was about to be killed on the spot. But at that moment, Raton suddenly withdrew his attack and immediately flew away from the mothership. While everyone was still in a daze, they saw a lightning bolt. There was a bigger 3-headed monster suddenly appeared in front of them. At the critical moment, the warship dived to avoid, leaving 2 monsters in the air to kill each other. But what no one expected was just one move. The demon of research, Tun, was easily knocked into the sea by the other side before the crowd could react. The next second, 3 monsters towards the mothership chased. But at that moment, a figure suddenly appeared, directly dragged the 3-headed monster into the sea. It turned out to be the strongest human fighter, Godzilla. He came to see the home field advantage of the Song shoulders easily bite off ahead of the other side. However, in the face of Godzilla came forward, the American army suddenly came up with a brainless plan. They launched a secret weapon, intended to kill both beasts in the ocean. But when the doctor exploded, originally confident US troops but completely killed the eyes. If Godzilla is accidentally killed by a human weapon, then the only way to save his life is to give him another box of bullets. Just now, US forces fired a new weapon into the battlefield of the 2 giants. The US military has launched a new weapon, the Who raised the destructive egg. This bomb can destroy all life within 6 kilometers. Just see a loud sound after. The sea was instantly covered with the bodies of various fish. Just when people thought the weapon had worked, the monster that had lost one of its heads, the beast that had lost a head, suddenly leapt out from underwater. It seems that the American weapons did not kill the monster. However, when the doctor and his team searched for Godzilla, they were disappointed to find Godzilla's heartbeat was slowly weakening until it finally stopped. But on the other hand, the 3-headed monster came to the crater of the volcano. As the energy was drawn in, his severed head was instantly reborn. He opened his huge wings and laughed long and hard. Under his roar, he saw countless beasts that were sleeping in the younger brother woke up, as if they were receiving the king's trumpet. The other half, they launched a relentless destruction of the human city. In time, Moscow, London, Washington and other major cities were invaded. And this is what they found out from the history books, that the 3-headed monster was the legendary alien creature, Ghidorah. Godzilla and Ghidorah had a long-standing rivalry for supremacy. After the death of their rival Godzilla, Titan beasts of the collective movement. In fact, it is in response to their rise and fall to the throne. I didn't expect the US Army's cleverness. Instead, they killed the only hope for mankind. When people were desperate to escape, a dazzling light suddenly pierced through the dark clouds. Like the hope of rebirth, it poured out to the bottom of the sea in a steady stream. When Dajan looked up, I realized that it was the legendary Godzilla, the queen of monsters, Mothra Tarun, who has a symbiotic relationship with Godzilla. Along with Mothra's light-hearted shadow singing, the song that was already cold, the heartbeat was restored again. But Godzilla was still very weak when he came back to life. In order to help him recover as soon as possible, Dajong proposed that they go and offer a nuclear bomb to Gozo personally. So the group took the submarine into the deep sea. Soon, in the ruins of an ancient city, they found Godzilla, who was resting up. However, the remote control device of the nuclear bomb was still accidentally damaged in the process of diving. In order to save all of humanity, Dr. Chinze decided to take the nuclear bomb himself to detonate the bomb manually. So, when the doctor crossed the radiation zone with difficulty, he brought the nuclear bomb. He came to the monster that he had studied all his life. He didn't hesitate to activate the bomb to complete his last mission. Forget it. It will. Finally, the nuclear bomb was successfully detonated, and Da Jiang and the others were pushed out of the sea without any problem. They climbed out of the ship. Just a few moments later, with a blue vortex slowly rising from the bottom of the sea, Godzilla came back to life. What kind of terrifying existence is it? Even the strongest human fighter, Godzilla, is no match for him. When Godzilla was revived from the explosion of the nuclear bomb, when he saw the expectant expressions of Da Zhong and the others, Godzilla did not hesitate for a moment. Immediately turned around and swam towards the location of Ghidorah, Manhattan, in order to avenge the death of Dr. Serizawa. The Emperor's organization took the lead in attacking Ghidorah, but not surprisingly, human weapons did not have much effect. In the end, it was Godzilla who started the battle of kings that belonged only to them. The battle of the two kings. The battle began. Godzilla first a big B fight knocked over his opponent, followed by a tail-whipping Ghidorah simply cannot stand. But soon, Ghidorah will recover the scene. He bit all three heads at the same time. Dove then slammed Godzilla to the ground with a heavy. Godzilla was pinned to the ground and rubbed. Mr. Go immediately sends an atomic spit back into his opponent. Ghidorah could not avoid it. Had to take this extreme output. And at the same time, Mr. Go's backup Mothra also came to help. He spit out a mouthful of old spit. Instantly, Ghidorah's head was stuck to the wall. Ghidorah tried to fight for his life, but the next second, he was knocked to the ground by Mr. Go. Seeing that the fight of the century was already decided, Mothra showed his scythe and was about to make up for Mr. Gogol. But then Moratton suddenly came out from the side. Both sides immediately into the air battle. At that moment, the lingering Ghidorah took the opportunity to bite into the high-voltage power grid beside him. With the continuous intake of energy, the alien monster Ghidorah instantly exploded again. Under the lightning strike of countless lightning, even Godzilla, who had a solid lower body, was instantly defeated. Then the Kittilage's pounce. The colorful crowd was still in a daze. Then Jing pulled Godzilla into the air, under the death winding of the opponent. The original battle superiority of the song total also completely lost consciousness. And the other side, Mothra and Raton's battle also came to an end. Although the Queen Slash hit the demon, but she herself was also seriously injured. She could only watch as Mr. Gao drifted away from him. Ghidorah flew all the way out of the big layer with Mr. Gao. Then he let Godzilla fall to the ground like a meteor. Godzilla was dying. He was no longer able to fight. The queen immediately opened her wings. Fight to the death. But after all, he was no match for Ghidorah. As a result, the next 1 second by the other side of a lightning shot into the machine fury. The queen unfortunately hate. However, his ashes were sprinkled on Godzilla's body. With all the energy of his lover shot into the strongest state of Red Lotus Godzilla, he came only to see the song is like a walking nuclear bomb. Everywhere he went, everything was instantly melted. Then, Godzilla in a rage suddenly sent out a nuclear explosion. The terrifying energy instantly burned through both of Godzilla's wings. Ghidorah released a thunderbolt in a desperate struggle, but Godzilla didn't even bother to dodge it. Then another nuclear explosion directly melted the two heads of Ghidorah. Finally, he stomped on the defeated Ghidorah. He ended the battle of wars that could have destroyed the battle of war that could destroy mankind countless times. Finally, when the smoke cleared, the giant beasts from all over the world came to the feet of Mr. Go again. They have bowed their heads. Once again, they submit to their rise and fall. Only this is the other side of the planet. Another of Earth's former Titan kings was clearly at odds. He angrily threw a cotton swab of nucleic acid, seemingly heralding another battle of kings to come.